Try to imagine what it would be like to see ultraviolet light, or if you could see polarized light and use it to navigate where you were going. Or imagine that your eyeball could glow in the dark and help you see even in complete darkness. Yes, the human eye is amazing, but our friends in the animal kingdom also have some pretty wild and crazy eyes. So today we're going to review 7 of the craziest animal eyes that exist and how they may see the world. First thing is, if you're new here to the channel, my name is Dr. Joseph Allen. I'm a board-certified doctor of optometry, and this channel is all about helping you learn about the eyes and see your very best. And occasionally, we post fun videos like this one. So if you're new here and you like learn about the eyes, seeing your best, hit that subscribe button, and let's get going. Number 1 on our list are that of mantis shrimp. If you've never heard of these sea creatures before, they have 12 photoreceptors in their eye. Remember, the human eye only has 3 photoreceptors. We have long, medium, and short. Basically red, green, and blue. And then our brain mixes those wavelength detection signals and then gives us the rest of the colors of the rainbow. But no, the mantis shrimp has 12 photoreceptors to pick up individual different types of colors. They also can detect a little bit of infrared light, so they may be able to have some heat detection, but then they also pick up ultraviolet light, which ultraviolet light, or UV light, does not penetrate very well through the human eye, and we have not evolved to have any photoreceptors to even observe it. In fact, it's hard to imagine what ultraviolet light would look like, right? I try to imagine it being like an extreme shimmering purple, kind of like staring into maybe a black light, for example. But again, it's hard to imagine what this would be like. Let me know in the comments what you think UV light would actually look like if you could see it. Also, I guess these mantis shrimp can move each eye individually because they're on kind of eye stalks like this. It's hard to imagine what their brain is processing and thinking as they move those eyes around, but still pretty cool. Number 2 on my list is actually an insect, and that's of a dragonfly. And honestly, looking at dragonflies, other insects, their eyes just sort of creep me out, probably because they're just so different than the human eye. But dragonflies have these bulbous eyes that help extend and give them almost 360-degree vision. In fact, they don't just have like one little cornea, they have thousands of these little facets, or ommatidia, which help them, again, detect really subtle information, responding quickly to things, and makes them really good hunters. In fact, they have over 30,000 of these ommatidia. Another crazy fact about dragonfly eyes is that they can perceive polarized light. Now, I did a video about polarized light and specifically about the benefits of polarized sunglasses a few years ago. If you've heard of polarized sunglasses, you're not sure exactly what they are and their benefits, and I'll put a video link to that in the description below. But I guess scientists were able to figure out that yes, dragonflies can see polarized light just with their natural eyes. If the human eye could see this, you would basically see rings of light kind of emanating out from the sun and going in different directions. So even if you turned around, you would see these like rings of light pulsating from behind you, coming from the sun and kind of closing in some object in the distance. And this allows dragonflies to detect kind of where they're at in space as well as the time of day. And based on how this light reflects off of different surfaces like water or animals or fish in the water or little insects, they can kind of navigate where things are at and what they can hunt. Honestly, the scientists who are doing the research, who are figuring this out, looking at insects, blows my mind that they're able to figure this stuff out. Also, I guess dragonflies have 3 small extra eyes on their face that basically just detect the intensity of light, and that helps them stabilize their flight. Another fun fact. Now, number 3 is that of cat eyes. And at some point in your life, I'm sure you probably looked at cat and wondered why their eyes have a vertical slit-like shape, or why at nighttime we can see cat eyes that shine in the distance, kind of like a demon or something like that. Now, the reason that cats have this vertical slit for a pupil is because it helps them with their depth perception, which makes them really good hunters, right? Because when your pupil is able to get really small and thin, this can help you perceive things up close a lot easier. But if you have an elongated slit for a pupil, it is believed to help them have 2 different focal points, one that's up close, but while still being able to see something that's a little bit further away, which again kind of gives them this better judgment for depth. And if we look in the animal kingdom, other animals that show kind of a similar pouncing style attack, like an alligator or a snake, they also share similar eye shapes. Now again, cat eyes kind of shimmer in the dark if you cast light on them. That's because of a specialized layer in the back of their retina called the tapetum lucidum. And this is actually something that you'll see in not only cats, but you can see it in young dogs as well. But this is an extra layer in the back of the eye that has some kind of crystalline yellow deposits that often reflect light inside of the eye, which allows them to see better even in very dim light sources. Now, while the human eye does not have this layer in the back of the eye like cats and other animals do, the human eye, sometimes you still can see a red or pink reflection from it if the light is just right. In fact, that's why certain flash cameras, especially when I was using the old wind-up ones when I was a kid, you would sometimes catch people with red eye, or you'd develop the film and ask them to remove the red eye. And that red glow from the human eye is due to the choroid, or a fine meshwork of blood vessels in the back of the eye, and when light hits that choroid, it reflects back toward the camera, or to the human viewing it, and then you're really just seeing the reflection of blood on the back of their eye. In fact, we use this principle of the light reflecting back toward us out of the human eye for a procedure in the eye clinic that we called retinoscopy. And just from looking at that light reflex coming back from the eye, we can detect subtle changes to either the eye's health or the refractive state of that eye. We can tell if somebody's nearsighted, farsighted, even if they have astigmatism. The other cool fact about cat eyes is that they are mostly red-green colorblind. They really don't have many cones to detect color in the first place, so they mostly see things in kind of blue, yellow, shades of green, and then they have a lot more rods to detect motion and help them with night vision. So if you're wearing a red shirt like this, your cat probably just sees you wearing a gray shirt. Number 4 is that of goat eyes, similar to horse eyes as well as camel eyes. Now they have more of a kind of rectangular type of pupil. It's not quite a slit one like we had with snakes, alligators, cats, but they are horizontal rather than vertical. And this is because these animals need a panoramic type of view so that they can detect any predators that may be coming from their sides. Also, these types of animals tend to be grazers, often with their head going down. So the eyes also developed that they're able to rotate upward while their head is still down so that they can still survey around for predators. I also read one theory that perhaps this pupil shape could help reduce glare from the sun, helping, again, detect predators and things. So, pretty cool. Now, number 5 is that of the giant squid. The giant squid has an eyeball. It's about the size of a soccer ball, around 27 centimeters. To give a kind of comparison, the human eye, the lens inside the human eye, is about the size of an M&M candy, but the lens inside of this thing is about the size of an orange. The benefit of having such a huge eyeball is that they also have a very large pupil, and that pupil can get so big it can let in more light inside of the eye and help them see even in really dim lighting conditions, like deep in the ocean. Another crazy fact about the giant squid and some other squid eyes is that they glow in the dark. They basically have almost built-in headlamps in sort of way. They actually have a specialized organ that contains other symbiotic microorganisms called photophores, and these have bioluminescent properties, helping them glow and basically shed light for their own eye to be able to see things. This is honestly a superpower that I didn't know that I would want. Matter of fact, if you could pick one vision-related superpower, what would it be? X-ray vision, see infrared light, perhaps lasers like Cyclops from X-Men. Lots of ideas. Now, number 6 is that of chameleons, my favorite animal from 3rd grade. Now, chameleons are crazy unique in that their eyes are not only situated on the sides of their head, which again give them kind of a panoramic view, but they can move their eyes independently, having them look in different directions. But it's not just that they can move their eyes in different directions independently, they can also focus their eyes individually against each other. The human eyes, when we focus on an object, both eyes focus at the same time. It's tethered neurologically. Only when somebody has a head or a brain injury or a bad concussion will these eyes start working independently when they shouldn't be. But chameleons can do this, and they're supposed to do this. In fact, it helps them track different prey and their foreground, background, and where things are moving to help them improve the accuracy of their tongue. Another crazy fact about the chameleon eye that I learned is that the ciliary body muscle inside of the eye, which for humans is a smooth muscle. It is a muscle that no matter how much you work out, it will not hypertrophy. But with the chameleon, their muscles are striated muscles, similar to like your bicep or skeletal muscle. So if you had eyes like a chameleon, you could essentially do eye muscle exercises and hypertrophy that muscle and make it grow larger, which would probably not be good because with the human eye, you'd probably get glaucoma. And then number 7 is that of owl eyes. Now just looking at an owl, it looks like their eyes are round, but their eyes are not spheres the way humans' eyes are. No, owl eyes are tubular, which gives them a better depth perception because of how light focuses on the back of the eye, which is great for catching their prey. But they also have bone that extends into the eye itself, which makes it impossible for them to move their eyes like the way we do. So instead, owls have evolved to rotate their neck the way that they classically do, up to about 270 degrees. Also, compared to human eyes, owls have almost no cones, so they have almost no color vision and they're almost purely monochromatic, which again gives them exceptional night vision. But if you ever do catch an owl during the day, they do have excellent control of their pupillary muscles, so their pupils can get really small and they won't be fully like white blasted with light and, not being able to see. The other cool fact about owl eyes is that they have 3 eyelids, not just the regular eyelids. They have a third extra one called the nictitating membrane, which is sort of like having a squeegee to clean the windshield, but it basically just cleans off debris and re-moistens the surface. Boy, I wish I could have that for dry eye syndrome. And I'm not 100% sure if it's true, but from watching the Angry Beavers TV show when I was a kid, I think maybe beavers have an extra eyelid too that they use to help them with swimming. And speaking of dry eyes, did you know that some geckos don't have eyelids? That's actually why they lick their eyes. They recoat and re-moisten their eyes with their tongue. And if you struggle with dry eyes, no, I do not recommend having somebody lick your eyes. Now I'll throw an extra bonus one in here because you stuck toward the end, and that would be the cuttlefish. The cuttlefish has a W-shaped pupil when in bright light, but then it actually dilates to a full circle in more dim light. Now, they don't entirely know exactly why the W shape was beneficial for a cuttlefish, but there are some research studies on it, which again is just fascinating to read that this is like a whole area of research. But the cuttlefish can actually control the pupil shape in some way. And so this would allow it to control the amount of glare and also the direction of light that could be coming in, to allow it to focus more on something that may be in front of them or perhaps a little bit to their side or behind them, giving them a better range of depth perception. There's also a theory that it could aid in camouflage too. Either way, pretty cool. But hey, from here, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. I know this video's a little bit different from a lot of the health education that we've been putting out, but please let me know in the comments your favorite part of today's video, if there's a favorite animal or something really new that you took away from it that was really cool, or if there's maybe an animal eye that we didn't cover and you wanted to make sure that we are aware of it, or maybe we'd cover it in future short YouTube posts and things like that. Otherwise, thanks again for sticking around. Dr. Allen here. Keep an eye on it. See you in that next video.